Hello, my name is Jasmine Jones, and I am a licensed clinical social worker, and you are now watching Black Girl Therapist in the Wild. And today's episode, we are reviewing The Deliverance on Netflix, and we are sipping on absinthe and Sprite. How you doing? Okay, so hell, people been talking about this movie, and I know everybody's seen the meme. Basically, it's a Lee Daniels. It's just a mix between Tyler Perry and whatchamacallit that be making all his characters light skinned and mix. And I just okay, so Andra Day and Glenn Close are good actors. They're good actresses. They can carry a movie. It's just oh god. So Andra Day, let's just get right into it. This is based off a true story. Nobody died in the true story. The woman's kids were taken from her for a bit, but she got them back. And the grandmother was black. Everybody was black in the original story. Lee Daniel changes the grandmother to, Glenn Close, the white woman. And no, it would have been fine. Like, she would have just been a representation of, like, white mothers with biracial children that have tarnished them and abused them and done things to them that are horrible. And now these biracial children are just moving through the world confused and messed up and stuff. But no, then he had to go and post some shit about how Albertas of our community Albertas are the fabric of our community. And I'm just kind of like, how are they the fabric? Like, what are they supposed to represent? Like, how slavery is still in our community, like how white folks fetishize us and have babies by us and then like treat their babies like shit. Like, what continued, fetishization of black people and how it fucks us up, emotionally and mentally and all the other shit. Like, what's the fabric? What is it? How does that keep our community together? Okay. The toxicity of I don't get it, but like, it was triggered. I didn't like it. I didn't like her being this white mom and then the nappy pussy part, and because you just out here free balling trying to be this using black vernacular type character, and I was just like, because I know white women like that are just fetishizing the black community and taking on our vernacular, and they may or may not have grown up in the hood, but even the ones that grew up in the hood, you not black. I didn't like it. I mean, like I said, they can act. So I'm not going to say that, they wasn't doing their parts and stuff. No, that was it was the plot, the storyline, the white grandmother that was supposed to be black, and then this nigga saying that's the fabric of our community. That was the cherry on top of the cake. And I was just like, but anyways, let's get into it. So Andra Day and her 3 kids, she got an older son and a middle daughter and a younger son. And the white grandmother moved into this new house in Pittsburgh, right? She's already on thin ice because she has some kind of alcoholism problem. The the baby daddy was trying to get the kids from her, but then he went to Iraq. I'm not sure if he went to Iraq in the army, if he just moved to Iraq, because she said moved to Iraq. I don't know, but he's in Iraq, right? But before he went to Iraq, he basically called CPS on her because she has some kind of alcoholism problem. So they got a caseworker, Monique, and she's, she comes and visits the house at some point during the show. And so anyways, like, she's trying to start her life again, but she's in all this debt. She owes all this money, like, and the bill collectors keep calling her. And then her kids are trying to adjust to this new neighborhood. Her son and her kids are walking home from school. Her oldest son is getting picked on by some corner boys on the corner and shit. And, like, She over here trying to maintain as much of her mental health as possible while still being an addict. Like, she still occasionally will go out and drink at the bar and stuff when things get too overwhelming. And then you got Glenn Close playing her mom over here saying stupid ass nitpicky things like how her food tastes too garlicky, or she always got some fucked up comment to make, and it's just like, no, because I understand. Like, the bitch popped her son in the mouth and he started bleeding. Like, you're violent. You're violent and you're drinking and you're doing stuff. But, like, when she legit has some shit to say that's important, like when her kids start doing demonic shit and all this other stuff, and all the white people around her looking at her like she's fucking crazy, including her mom, and her mom's co-signing with her looking crazy, I just feel like, why? This is what led her to do the things that she's doing. This is a part of it. Why are you continuing? She's trying to do better, and you are continuing to agitate the bitch, knowing that when she gets agitated, she goes overboard and she does stupid shit. So why? So you are always looking at her like, oh, you're gonna abuse your kids, but then you're actively doing shit to nitpick at her and make it seem like you're the better person in the house, when you should just let her parent. Let her parent it. And then if she does some shit of her own volition that is violent and fucked up, then you could be like, see, you know what, this ain't it, girl. This is not. But no, you over here talking about her food, mad because she don't want to let her child go to church. Her child didn't want to go to church. So if he don't want to go to church, why are you trying to make him have a religion that he don't want to have? You can't force religion on people, even children. If they don't want to be there, they ain't gonna want that. Religion is not something that you force on children. She do all these little nitpicky things. And then it's like, she's trying to make it seem like she the better person in the house and stuff like that. I just feel like she's adding extras to an already volatile situation, and you're not taking responsibility for the fact that you're adding shit. And it's not helpful, and it's not okay. And then like when she took the kids to the hospital and stuff, when the school sent the kids to the hospital and stuff, and then the doctor was saying like all this shit about the kids, you know, maybe it's the mom, maybe it's you, and the grandmother just sitting there like, yeah, you should stop being, maybe the doctor's right, and da da da. And I was just like, yeah, like I said, she's violent and volatile and all this other shit. But if you evaluate children after they've had some kind of meltdown and they seem perfectly fine after the meltdown, and the meltdown involved eating their own shit, we're not going to just be like, oh, well, just because we didn't want evaluation, they seem perfectly fine now. They're just doing this because the mom is influencing them to do it with her own fears. And I'm sure she didn't tell them that little boy to eat his own shit. That's all I'm saying. You know? But anyways, they move into this house. And shit just starts going from bad to worse. Like they hearing these creaking sounds, these noises. There's some weird ass smell coming from the basement. I swear, for God, the first 10 minutes of this movie, I didn't know what the plot was. I literally thought she killed the husband, put him in the basement. The ghost was texting her daughter, and that's who was gonna hunt the kids. I literally, because I was just like, why are there so many flies in the basement? What's going on? I had no idea what the plot of this movie was. I just was like, oh, it's supposed to be black horror suspense, and I just pressed play. But anyways, there's weird smells coming from the basement. Come to find out, it's like a dead cat or some shit. But like, there's the demon's doorway is down there too. So you shut up, bitch. It's not a. I don't even want to say that it's not a bad movie. It's just that it's. Oh Lord. Maybe if it didn't have a white grandmother, maybe that would have made it better. Or maybe if he didn't have said that she was the fabric of our community. I don't know. It's not the people under the stairs. It's There you go. It's not put together. Like they eventually get to the point where they believe that there is a demon in the children, right? But it's so disjointed. I'm confused as to how they got, cuz they never mentioned the demon until they mention it. Like, then they just, when they mention it, they fully believe it. There's no like build up to them like, maybe this is, maybe that what you. No, it goes from the grandmother thinks the mom is crazy and she's beating her kids to all of a sudden the grandmother's in the church office. And the thing is like it builds up with the kids. With the kids, like very slowly but surely, we go from the little boy drinking like a gallon of milk and spilling it all over the floor on himself. Then we go from the little boy spilling milk on himself to him sleepwalking and busting his head on the door at the little girl's birthday party, which was not for her. That party was not for her. They sent the kids to bed very early, and then they went and she got drunk at that party and just cussed out her friend, and it was a whole thing. Um, and like then we get to like the oldest son is strangling the little boy in the bathtub and trying to drown him after the mom and the daughter had an argument and shit. After grandma and the daughter had an argument and shit, now he's trying to drown his sibling in the tub and shit. It's no. First, what happened was then all three of them had some situation in school. The daughter started just pouring blood down her leg, so she got to go get a pap smear to make sure ain't nothing wrong with her. The little boy asked the teacher if he could use the bathroom, then started throwing shit everywhere. And then like the son starts laughing at the teacher talking about HIV and AIDS and how it's progressed through the black community and how her son died. And she's from some scary movie too, where she was doing some shit like that, laughing inappropriately at something. I forgot what movie it was, but she was the woman that played the teacher. She was in some scary movie or something, laughing inappropriately at some shit, doing the same shit. And then it goes to like the oldest son trying to drown the youngest son in the bathtub, and he don't know how it happened or what happened. So all of these things happen, right? But like we don't get any scene between where the grandmother and the mom is talking about the oldest son grounding the grandson or grounding the youngest son or nothing, to where you get like a build up of them both starting to believe something's wrong with these kids and there's a demon or some shit in the house. They just go from that happening to all of a sudden the grandmother's at the church asking the preacher if they do exorcisms or some shit. And I'm just like, I just want a little bit more build up there, just a little bit more like, oh, this is how we got to this conclusion, but it's fine, whatever. And then we got this apostle evangelist woman that's been scoping out the house since like the beginning of the movie. They thought she was coming with Monique, who was social services, right? She's just coming up in the house, hoofing around, just like, you need to get your shit together. Where are these bruises on these kids coming from? And I'm just like, isn't that how little Gabriel died? Like in which one? I think it was San Fernando. Gabriel Hernandez. Isn't that how he died? That he had a bunch of bruises on him, and the social workers weren't doing shit. Why did you just do shit when you saw the bruises? Why are you coming up in the house, see all three children with bruises and places where they don't get them from just playing, like, on the knees or the elbows or some shit like that, and you just let that be the response? Was like, oh well, like the little boy, so she didn't hit these kids. Like after she popped that little boy in the mouth, she didn't hit the kids anymore, but like the little boy had his whole side fucked up because he fell on the bat. And then, like, the oldest son had a black eye because I guess the stick-up kids kept fucking with him and shit. And then the oldest son and the mom got into some argument in the kitchen because, like, he was hiding her liquor. And then she stole his money with the liquor he was hiding. I was just like, Why was it just sitting on the dresser in the closet with the door open with nothing covering it? You were how hard were you trying to hide these things, huh? Because he said he was trying to hide the liquor from her because he didn't want her to drink it and shit. And I'm just like, it was just sitting there on the dresser in the closet with the closet door open and shit. I don't. You know what? It's fine. And so, like, they having an argument in the kitchen because she took his money that was sitting there, too. Just sitting there. I mean, you and your family home. You don't expect your family to steal from you, I guess. So I can't be like, but still, like, it was just sitting there, a big old wad of cash on the dresser. You know your mom ain't got no fucking money and shit. You don't expect your family to steal from. Maybe he didn't expect that to happen. But she took his money, and I guess at some point she gave it back because when they came to get the cat from in the base, they never showed her giving the money back. But let's see these like random ass plot holes. And but at some point she gives him the money back, and they make up or some shit. Maybe she gave it back when they made up because like. She likes, she did hit him again. She hit him in the face because he cussed her out. And she was just quick to anger, and to come to find out, she was like molested or some shit because the mama was just inviting niggas into the house and had a boyfriend that molested her. So she been angry her whole life, fighting her whole life and shit. And so anytime these little kids would mouth off, she would just punch them in the face. Shit, I was just like, girl, what's going on? Like, why? And I know, like, you don't want to get CPS involved and have your kids taken away and all this other shit, but like, Monique wasn't doing her job because like CPS doesn't take your kids away off top. They mandate like therapy or like parenting classes or something, mental health something when your kids are being like abused physically but like not harshly enough to where they're being like tortured or some shit. You just popped them once and they got a bloody lip or some stupid shit. Like then they're not gonna, because they don't want to pay these foster families $1,500 per kid or $5,000 per kid, somewhere between there. So the first thing they're going to do if the kid is not being severely abused is they're just going to mandate like therapy or parenting classes or some shit. And then if they are being severely abused, they're just going to mandate kinship care. So if they got family members they can stay with, that's the next step. And then if no one can take them in, that's when foster care and strangers become an option. So like, most black folks think they just gonna immediately take their kids. They're not. Look at little Gabriel, that poor little child. God bless him. But yeah, so like, I just feel like grandma kept complaining and being mad about all this other stuff. Had a bat out when the child services came, was staring the bitch down when she came and stuff like that. But I think that's her own trauma and stuff from when she probably had CPS called on her a bunch of times and shit. You talking all this shit about your daughter beating her fucking kids, but you beat her ass too and shit. And now you talk a good game, but when it's finally time to do some shit, you don't do nothing. You don't do some shit that might actually make some change and shit, and she might get forced into therapy and some shit. You don't do a damn thing. And you mad at the CPS worker because of your own trauma because they probably called CPS on you. And the fucked up part is every time Andre would mention that her mom was trash and used to beat her, the bitch wouldn't even apologize. She would just be like, I'm not proud of that. Like, what does that mean? Like, are you just gonna take responsibility and acknowledge, like, yeah, I know I did that and I'm sorry, but we're trying to do something better now. Like, I'm trying to work with you to do something better now. Can we work together to do something better now for these kids? There needs to be some kind of I'm sorry in there, like acknowledgement of the fact that you did the same shit to her, probably even worse and shit. And like, this is why she's just repeating the trauma. Like, you're not acknowledging. You just saying, well, I'm not proud of that and shit, and you're just brushing it the fuck off. I'm tired. So I didn't want to do this movie. Yeah. It's not that it's not people people under the stairs. Like, it's not Tales from the Hood. Like, it's not like there's plot points missing, and it's just like triggering because of this white woman acting like this. And then it's like they were like, well, she has cancer, that's why she wears wigs. And I'm like, that's fine, but why do the wigs have to look the way they do? Why do the wigs have to have baby hair? Why was she dressed like that? Why was she trying to mac up the niggas at the chemotherapy spot and then ended up with whatchamacallit from House? I hated that this nigga was I know we need money. I know. When we ain't getting the acting jobs that we want and shit, and we need money and shit, and I hate it. And then they kissed on the mouth like a couple times. It was just a couple pecks, but I was just like, ew. No, it didn't look right. I don't care. And then she had the cleavage out, and I was just like, do you love playing this part, didn't you, Glenn Close? These white people just love putting on the costume of blackness. They love it. They love using our vernacular. They love it all. They just have so much fun like it's a costume. Like, this isn't our actual culture that we've cultivated ourselves. Even through white supremacy and slavery and racism, we built our own culture and our own stuff. And that's a part of the network of who we are as a people. Like, they just see it as the whole entire world just sees it as a fucking costume to wear. And if we try to do it ourselves, they just make fun of us or call us ghetto. But then they'll go and put on the press on there, or the acrylics and the bangles and the things, and then they think they look cute in it and shit, and the boxer braids. And I'm tired. It was just exhausting to watch her. I just kept thinking boxer braids every time. Every time I saw her in this costume, I was just like, this is exhausting. And it's in my nervous system. When I see white women, especially that just take on our character and try to take on us as a people, it just makes me feel sick inside. So I couldn't vibe with it. I was just like, this shit is dumb. Why is she dressed like that? Like, it's like they told her to go on Fashion Nova and every pair of pants was ripped, and I just, I hated it. I did. Like, I just despise it. And it's like older black women that dress like that look better than what the fuck she was wearing. And I hated it. I really did. I don't care what you're talking about. Oh, it's Glenn Close. Well, if it's Glenn Close, she should be doing some Oscar-winning performance type movies and shit. She shouldn't be sitting up here in fucking Fashion Novas talking about your hairy pussy or whatever the fuck, nappy pussy. I hated it. Because you let one white person say some shit like that, the rest of them don't think they can say some, well, Glenn Close said it. Bitch, fuck you. I wish the file beat a bitch. See, shit like that'll make me snap. That's why I don't be around people like I mean, I'm trying. I am. Oh, God. This is why I didn't want to do that Tyler Perry movie. I was just like, because I was going to be talking shit the whole time. Like what? Like, why is this nigga attacking her mom in a grocery store? Like, what's wrong with him? Like, why is she just allowing this? Like, this nigga's obviously trash. I know we stay in abusive relationships and shit because of brainwashing, but like, what's going on here? And then immediately after, like, you go for a week to your parents' house and suddenly you're healed of the traumas and you just own some other nigga, like, immediately after, like, you're healed. Like, after decades of abuse since high school, since you haven't even had time to, like, formulate who you are as a person outside of this nigga, because important developmental periods were taken up by this nigga. And yet, and still, you spend a week at your parents' house and hang out with some other light skin nigga or whatever he was. And now you're healed and you can cuss this nigga out. You can get him out of your house and you're not scared of him anymore at all. Not even a little bit. Shut up, bitch. That's not how DV and trauma works. But go off, sis. Go off, Tyler Perry. Oh shit, this made my brain hurt. I'm trying. My neurodivergency is just fucking up over this. So they got the demons in the house, the children eating they shit. She go to the doctor. The doctor is talking shit, trying to make it seem like it's her, which it partially is, because she's still drinking and going out occasionally and just quick to anger and popping her kids in the face and the mouth and shit, doing all this extra shit that she don't even be doing because she be in fucking therapy, but she owed $30,000 to the hospital anyway, so she probably wouldn't be able to afford therapy anyways, girl. She's a hairdresser and she owed $30,000 to the fucking hospital, and she owed $30,000 on some loan she got, or some other money she owed on some loan she got that she 3 months behind and shit. So you know what? I'm just gonna let it go. So they get home. He tries to drown a little boy, and then like the case manager comes back again. Monique come back in. She's trying to get in the house, and Andrea ain't trying to let her in the house, and she make her way into the house, and she want to see the kids and shit, but she won't believe Andrea. Andrea trying to tell her something is in her children. She won't believe her and shit. So she just like so here come Glenn Close with a bat standing on the stairs. I don't. No, because you don't do that, honey. She could have came back in 10 minutes with the police and took them kids out that house. See, no, because, oh, God. Why did you think that she couldn't come and just take them kids out that house immediately? But anyways, so, like, Andrea goes to the bar. And she's having a drink during all this because she needs to have a drink with some friends. And here come whatchamacallit from Lovecraft Country, the apostolistic, evangelistic, and she basically tells her the story of the people that previously lived in the house, and it was the 90s and everything was popping and beautiful and they had kids, and then the demon came up and got into the son and then got into the mom, and then the mom cut the husband head off and killed the kids and shit. And then, because she couldn't save the boy, and so she's not like an exorcist, she does deliverances. And so basically that's like black people exorcism where they speak in tongues and shit. And I didn't dislike that, because we've seen like a lot of brujeria, we've seen hoodoo represented in movies and horror movies and stuff, and we've seen Catholicism and shit and other religions represented in horror movies in a scary way and shit like that. I kind of wanted to see black evangelical type shit, black Baptist, black Christian shit. Like, how would we do an exorcism? So I didn't dislike that. I just like that she was speaking in tongues. I know people got trauma with the church. You know, I was sitting at church one day and I was thinking, I was just like, you know, you gotta take the positive from what you can get from the situation you in, because like the church be having once a year, they'll have some type of vague like, oh, false teachings and sermon and shit, and we know what the false teachings are and shit. You talking about gay niggas and shit, you fucked up. And then the rest of the year, you ain't gonna hear shit about it, right? And I was just thinking, like, every environment is gonna have some shit where it's gonna be some horrible ass people in it. Does that mean that I don't partake of any environment because there's horrible ass people in it? Or does that mean I just take what I need and leave the rest, and as long as the majority of the interaction isn't horrible, you know, I do what I do. And then as long as I don't try to pressure nobody else to try to do it, like, you know, Because everywhere you go is gonna be some horrible ass shit and horrible ass people. It's like every music artist has done some horrible ass shit. At the very least, they're capitalists and they don't care about people. Does that mean I never listen to music? You know what I mean? Like, if they were like, if you're like on R. Kelly level, like, no, you tortured, like, that's a part of your song. That's some evil energy in your music. And I'm not listening. That's the majority. I mean, like, a rarity 0.1% every once in a while, you're going to experience some bullshit in an environment you in. Like, if you go to school, you gonna encounter homophobic people and fucked up people at school. Does that mean you don't go to school, or does that just mean you find your people in your tribe and you like avoid those fucking people as much as possible? And maybe if you're lucky, once or twice a year you will have to endure some homophobic slur or some bullshit when they pass you in the hallway or some shit. And but if you're being bullied every fucking day you go to school, then it's time probably to change schools or do something, talk to a counselor or some shit like that. You know what I mean? So I was just like, I understand how people can feel a type of way that there's like churchy themes in this movie, but for me, I was just like, I thought that was kind of cool. I was just like, I haven't seen this before in a horror movie. Well, I won't. It's not a movie though. It was like Tales from the Crypt and shit. And it was this one episode where dude was like an undertaker, and he was like, and he like killed his nephew and shit, and then the nephew came back as a zombie and killed. And everybody was black. I was just like, and they were in the church. He wore the preacher collar and shit. And I was like, look at this. So I didn't dislike it. I didn't dislike it when she was speaking in tongues and shit, and that's like when you watching a scary movie and like they do the voodoo stuff, and it's like they doing they spells and shit. But even I mean, like within, like if white people are manning that, like that's not at its root, like a evil religion or an evil thing. That's just white people trying to make it seem different because it's black people stuff. So like I'm not trying to say like, oh, it's like that's evil or some shit. I'm just saying like when you have a horror movie and you have like some type of religion represented in it doing whatever, whether it's the religion that's trying to fight the thing or it's the religion that is the thing or whatever, you don't tend to see like black Christian stuff. So I thought it was interesting. And so I'm not even mad about it. So she talks to the evangelical lady, but as soon as she gets to the part where, oh, I couldn't save the boy or the family or nothing, and your son got a demon in him, she was trying to be off of it, right? But at home, Glenn Close is chilling at the house, right? She started hearing the noises and shit, and then this smoky nigga come up and just kill her to death. And I don't know what he did. He strangled her or killed her with smoke. I don't fucking know. And it was like it was in a little boy and shit. And so like Andra gets home and sees her mom dead, and then like she calls the police. I just don't understand how two people died because and she didn't go to jail. But I tried to. Maybe they thought the grandmother had a heart attack. But she gets all the kids in the car, right? And she's just driving around. She don't know where to go. The kids just looking at her like she crazy. They didn't pack nothing. And then, like, she look in the back seat, and the little boy has a little demon in him with the black eyes. Like, oh, your mother never loved you, or fuck you, or some shit. I don't know. They trying to like mix in a little bit of the Exorcist into this. So it's like she walking on a smoky street at one point, and all this other shit. So like she jump out the car and go to a bar or some diner or some shit, and then they walk out back outside with her, see the kids in the car, and they just think she's some crazy black woman because we can't have a mental breakdown and get like help and shit. We just crazy and we're endangering our children. They need to be taken from us and shit. I'm just like, okay, girl. I thought it was interesting too because the little boy like built up to like having like the demon in him, and the first scene with him acting weird was he was sitting on a swing talking to himself, and he was like he was talking to somebody and talking about, oh, do you live here? Oh, what's your name? Blah, blah. And she hear this little nigga talking to himself, and she go, stop talking to yourself, I told you stop. And it just made me think how black people will just overlook obvious mental health. Child is walking in his sleep, banging his head on the wall. Like, we didn't do anything until this child ate his own shit and threw it at the teacher. It has to escalate for a lot of us in our community to some shit like that before we're like, oh, something's wrong. It's just like, you didn't think something was wrong when he was talking to himself like he was talking to a person, but he never has had an imaginary friend before. She just thought it was, but then, like, I won't say that completely, because in like white movies, when kids are talking to themselves, the white parents automatically think it's imaginary friends too. So, but it was just like I don't know. I feel like in white movies, they would get the child to a therapist faster, or the monster would just come out faster and kill them all and shit. Cause I don't like. He was banging his head against the wall. He was sleepwalking. He was doing all this random ass shit. She probably couldn't afford therapy too. Let me shut the fuck up. But like, I was pissed off at that doctor though. No, because you're not doing proper evaluations if you think that eating shit and then throwing it at your teacher randomly out the clear blue sky in class, and then you do an evaluation and a child seems normal at the evaluation but was not normal a day ago, like, that's not normal behavior. Like, that just means he's having a calm moment. You know mental health, honey. Like, what? You're a doctor. You went to medical school. Why are you sitting up here acting obtuse? Why wouldn't you be like, well, let's do some observation. I just want to see him for like a couple more times and shit, and just talk to him a little more, and I just want assessment. Oh, you're just getting it from you because you're acting crazy. And oh, I hated that. I hated that. I was just like, they're just getting it from you. I was just like, are you fucking serious? They have no history of this type of behavior. Like, she was a full-blown alcoholic, and they have no history of the one girl is bleeding all over the place. The one boy is laughing about people dying, like, and then the child is eating shit, honey. Like, that's the main thing here. He's eating his feces in the middle. He took a shit in his hand. The middle of class, and you're sitting there saying, "Oh, Sheriff, I'll be good." So, anyways, they take her to the hospital and they take her kids and they're giving her this evaluation, and of course, the person evaluating her is just so uncaring about what she's experiencing. I mean, it just felt like it felt like she was asking the right questions, but as soon as she didn't like an answer, then she would just read this bitch for filth like she not going through some shit right now. She was just like, oh, are you, when was the last time you drank alcohol? And she was like, I guess a couple weeks ago. And she was like, look, girl, we know you're lying. I was just like, you didn't have to say it like that. You just been like, yep, you know, we want to kind of let's relook at that question, because we read your charts and your charts are saying something different than what you're saying. So like, you wanna like rephrase that a little bit. Like, let's relook at that or some shit like that. I don't fucking know. I just feel like it did we have mental health professionals on the set? That's all I want to know. Did we? Because it felt like we didn't. I could be wrong though. I'm probably wrong. So anyways, they take her kids. They take them to like some Catholic, foster care or whatever. And then they tied a little boy up in the hospital because now it's all coming out. He's having seizures. He's speaking in tongues and languages, different languages and shit. And then like she goes back to Lovecraft Country chick. I forgot her name. Leave me alone. I'm not good with names. And then she's gung ho for it. Now she wants the Deliverance. She wants all of it. And so like she dresses up as a nurse to go get her kid right out the hospital. And Monique is in there with the kid, right? This is before she comes to get her kid. She's in there with the kid, and then that's when she sees that this child has something in him. Something is in this baby. he's he's speaking like a grown up. He's telling her about her dead son, and then he unbuckles the buckles and crawls backwards up the wall like little Spider-Man. And so she's like, oh no. I'm just like, how did she get out of the room? How did he not escape the room? See, we got these random ass plot holes. No, because that little nigga was killing everybody. I mean, did he decide that because he seems very chaotic? He seems like a chaotic killer, not like a, meticulous thinking things through type nigga. Like, he can be meticulous, but like when you up in his face like that, when you all up in his grill and shit, like he just seems like he's gonna slice and dice you and shit. But so how did she get out that room without getting sliced and diced? I'm just curious. Maybe he realized that he couldn't just escape the hospital. I don't fucking know. So many plot points. So here come Andra Day, and she's just like pretending to be a nurse. She up in her acting. She like saying, "Hey, girl," to the people in behind the counter, and they just looking at her like, they don't know you, girl. Them people, they're a team in that bitch. They don't know you. I mean, she could have been from another floor, though, so maybe that was it, too. I don't fucking know. So she gets her son up out of there right before the doctor walk in, right? And then she takes him back to the house where the demon is and shit. Where the demon came from or whatever the fuck. And then here come Lovecraft Country, bitch. And she's telling her, you gotta believe in Jesus that he's gonna save this baby and and you just stand back there. I'm gonna work on him. You didn't believe the first time and lost the child, girl, but let's try this again. So she tries it again. And I was thinking about it because she ends up dead, right? So the demon ends up killing her, like smashing her on the ground or some shit. So I was thinking, like, how's you got 2 dead people in this house and Andra Day ain't in jail? So then I was like, well, she did have a recorder on during the Exorcism. I'm just going to give it the explanation because if I don't, then it's going to be another plot point that doesn't make sense. Because she's black. And every other bad thing that happens to black mothers happened to her. But her not ending up in jail after having 2 dead bodies in her home that were unexplainably dead. That she doesn't end up in jail for life or death row or some shit. That didn't. Okay. She got her kids back 6 months later after 2 dead bodies. Okay. And she black, girl. And she poor. Okay. So I'm gonna explain it by just saying that the recorder was still on and you could hear that she probably didn't kill this bitch. And then maybe it just looked like a heart attack. There's another bitch that died of a heart attack in that house. Okay. So the nigga slamming her up and down. She dead. Andra's in the basement. She trying to get the demon out her son. And she having flashbacks to the nigga that molested her and shit. Horrible nigga. And then she sees the God inside of her. And then, like I said, and then she starts speaking tongues and she killed the demon out of her child and he gets dragged back to hell and shit. And I was just like, I didn't mind it. I just felt like we never get a representation like this in any way in horror movies of black Christianity. I enjoyed that part. I will not say that I did not enjoy it. That was the one way that it could be done. And the speaking in tongues too, even because that shit looks scary when you see it from the outside. It do. I mean, when I was a kid, and I would be watching them bitches, and we would just be singing a hymn, right? Everybody's the choir sing, and then all of us, I would just be looking like, and you don't know what. I didn't know what was going on. I was just like, these people look like they're about to die. They were like on the the floor. Their shoes was off. They was rolling around. They was yabbering in some type of language that I didn't know what it was. And I would just be like scared shitless. Like, what the fuck is happening? I mean, you get used to it over time, and as you get older, you're just like, oh, they're just speaking in tongues and shit. They're having a good time. No one else in the church is bothered by it, so you just desensitized to it now. But when I first saw that shit, I was just like, what's going on? What? Are they okay? Why don't they have their shoes on? Why are they on the floor? It'll be wild and shit. People's clothes would be halfway off, girl. Like, you could see, and then you would have the ushers come in and try to like straighten their clothes while they having a conniption and speaking it. And I would just be tucking in the old ladies' shirts back in because you could see they bra a little bit because they stomach popping out, and I would just be like, this is I've never felt this from God. I don't know what this is. Is this like a Jesus seizure? Like, what? This shit, when you look at it, is scary as fuck. And if you don't know what's going on, you're just fucking horrified. And so I just feel like that is perfect. That is fucking perfect for a scary movie, bitch. Like, I loved it. She was like, oh, and I was just like, look at her. She feels Jesus. Oh, God. I know, it's surprising that was the best part of the movie for me. I hope there's more scary Christian movies. Shit. I want them to do the monsters and Revelations and shit. I want to see more scary black Christian movies. But what better applies, like, I just, and not the white grandmother, and I hated that. I tell you what. But anyway, so like she gets the demon out the little boy and sends it back to hell. And then like here come Monique at her house because her kids still get taken away and shit. And Monique was talking about, oh, the kids don't remember what happened because during the whole like exorcism deliverance situation, like I bet he wanted this to be like a whole new genre. He was trying to make like that how exorcism became like a whole genre of movie after The Exorcist. And so he wanted to be he wanted it to be a whole genre of deliverance movies. I mean, like, it could, maybe, maybe, we could never say never, nigga. Like, so, like, Monique is talking about how it's gonna be a fight for her to get her kids back. I mean, 2 motherfuckers died at that house, and it's unexplained, and she didn't go to jail. Why are you gonna have people die in a movie where this black woman is getting left and right hooks everywhere every time she takes a fucking breath? But you got 2 bitches die at her and nothing happens. We just make up what happened. We didn't show it though. We're not gonna show it. And then like she has Jesus in her now, and she's just like, if God is willing, I'll get my kids back. And I was just like, you have a little more fight into that, girl. You just gotta completely believe God's gonna give you your kids back. I don't care. Oh, he's gonna give you your fucking kids back and shit. Like, no, that's what's gonna happen. Cause no, those are your kids. Those are your babies. Like, no, shut up. And then, like, when he's like, I wish I had as much faith as you, and da 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 da. And she's like, well, this should help. And she gave her like this little gold cross and shit. I was just like, oh, look, she got the Jesus in her and shit. I don't know what the fuck you want me to. And then we get this little after thing where it's like, oh, she got her kids back 6 months later, and then we see them after in a car driving to like, I don't know, Pennsylvania somewhere to a new house. They gonna stay with her aunt. That's what it was. And she was like, I'm getting back with your daddy. We're gonna try to work it out and blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, I mean, it's a happy ending. I don't know. I don't know what you want me to say. I don't know what you, I just like, I know she was abusive. She was abusive. And I'm not excusing that. But when you are trying to be back on a positive road, it doesn't help to have somebody pressing your buttons around you. And especially if the person was the person that made you this way. No, because her mom sat up in there and was doing drugs and was letting any nigga in the house, and that's how she got molested, was because any predator, you just left the door open to a tiger to come in the house. You was a part of it, bitch. It wasn't just a nigga, it was you. And like, I'm sure she didn't get no therapy, no help for it. I don't know if the bitch knew or not, but I would know. I would know if my child goes from jumping, roping, skipping, and having dreams to being this bedraggled, sad creature. Wait a minute. Why don't you want to watch the Pokemon and shit no more? What's going? Why are you sleeping all day, bitch? Like, we're not paying attention. No, we're not paying attention. We're not. She was a part of it. No, you was in the house too. You knew. You knew. You knew. And so, like, she might not have known, but I just don't like her, so she knew. But like, I just hated it. It was horrible as a devil. Like, I feel bad for them biracial kids with them fucked up white parents, especially if they white. Like you had this kid. You chose to have this kid, and you are treating it like it's an animal. Like, I mean, black parents can do it too, but like, you just commonly hear about these fucking biracial kids and these white moms, and it's just so horrible. They just be growing up all fucked up and confused and traumatized and fucked. Like, there's so many TikToks. I one day binged and just sat on TikTok watching a bunch of biracials complain about their white moms, and I was just like, wow. These white people are just torturing their kids, their little black kids, like they torture themselves and then they torture everybody else. You know, the Roman Empire took over Europe, so like, they do it to themselves first. Always remember that. Like, you don't know how many white clients I have where basically they're experiencing the same thing that people of color experience, only from their parents. That's why a good portion of them, not all, but a good portion of them walk out the house and do that shit to people that don't look like them. People that they feel are beneath them. Because they need to like vent out all that shit their parents and shit did to them and shit, treating them less than in their house and shit. And I'm just like, I wish these white people would realize that they have intergenerational trauma and epigenetical trauma that have been passed down since the Romans took over Europe. And they would, if you recognize that, you can get help for that and just be like regular ass fucking people and not people that feel like power and control is the way to be. Because it's not. Like, we just live this chill ass fucking life. Things will just come to you when you're chill. They will. Things just fall in your lap when you just chill out and just allow stuff. Is that trying to control everything? There is a sense of control in just allowing things to happen. Because you can always set a boundary and set a limit if you don't like something. I'll allow shit to happen, but if it turns left and some bullshit start, I'm not going to continue with it. No. You seem like an interesting person to go out and date with. I'm just going to enjoy this. But as soon as you say some shit that sounds derogatory, racist, homophobic, you start saying some sexist shit, some bullshit to me, like, I'm not about to continue this conversation, sir. I don't have it. I don't. But those are like like pretty decent limits. Like if you got like a stutter or some shit, I will sit there and try my best to take in your speech impediment. I will. You can't help that. That's some anxiety shit. Like what? Like you got like you eat with your mouth open. I'm not one of them people that are just super, just like cut you off, grossed out by it. But I'm gonna probably say something. Be like, you should. Or you know what, me, I don't really give a shit like that. I'm probably just not gonna look at your mouth while you're eating, unless it's like coming out of your mouth, or you got a beard and it's in your beard. Like that's nasty. But if it's in your mouth and you talking with your mouth open, I'm just not gonna look at your face while you talk. I watch mukbangs and shit. See, it's like I don't feel like I'm picky. I feel like the things that I don't like are pretty common things that most people probably wouldn't like, and they're things that would be fucked up to other people in the world. So, I'm gonna go with the flow, bitch, until you do some stupid shit that involves hurting other people. Yeah, that's all lumped into hurting other people. And usually shit just kind of falls in my lap. And people realize that I'm a pretty chill person and things tend to work out and shit. Or I get free shit and stuff because I'm cute. So, and I'm going to take the free shit. I'm just be like, thank you. I'm not going to offer anything back. This is free shit. Like, like white people just be trying to make you do shit. Like make you talk to them and make you smile at them and make you, just like niggas be doing it. It's all coming from the same place. I don't like myself inside, so I want you to feel like me too, so I don't have to feel alone, and I can feel superior, not even just not alone, but superior to you. So yeah, I just I could have done without Glenn Close, doing a sew-in. I don't care. I don't give a flying fuck. Like, look, I could do my black daughter's, but you still abused her. So, you being able to do her hair doesn't mean anything if you still abused her. Just like she said, you want to be around black people until some shit happens. You don't really want to deal with the shit that black people have to go through. No, you don't. Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. Because when that bitch was dismissing your child after your grandchild just sat up there and ate his own fucking shit. Like what? That's one of those top tier symptoms. Like that's like if he had tried to hang himself and then like try to commit suicide or some shit, and then you do an evaluation a few hours later and he's fine. It was an accident. I'm perfectly fine. Immediately we would think that was weird. Immediately off top, like, why are you so calm after trying to kill yourself? We're just gonna, for evaluation's sake, we're just gonna keep you here, or just see you a couple more times just to make sure that I'm not gonna tell your parent that you're fine. So that's one of them up there things, like ate his own. Nobody does that unless they've been like harmed seriously. Like playing with your shit is a sign of being molested. Like that's cause it could be a sign of psychosis. It's not one of them symptoms like I sleep 14-hour days. Like we can monitor that. No, that's some top tier symptoms. Like, so for her to just be like, oh, they're behaving like this because you are doing this to them and they want to copy you. Like she's sitting up there eating her own shit and he wants to eat his shit because she's eating her shit. Like you're putting these things, and then for the mom to be just sitting there like, calm down. Oh my gosh, bitch. No, that was it. I was done. I was like, no. Sitting up there in ugly ass Fashion Nova and shit. It didn't even fit right. It didn't fit her body type right. I don't give a fuck what you talking about. It did not. What she was wearing did not fit her body type like it was supposed to. Like she got like a pantsuit body. Like, broad shoulders, like V down and shit. Like she trying to make curves pop when she's like a V down pantsuit bitch, like a cute pantsuit with a little cut open V and shit, maybe white or cream and shit. Like I can see her. I've seen her in shit like that. Whatever the fuck she had on in this shit with the baby hairs and the wig, I was just like, is this really the wig we chose? We went to the store and we said we want the wig that we can make the baby hairs, and no, because those are like, that's not. They just let her pick all her costumes off of Fashion Nova. They told her, here is the black card for the studio. This is the budget. Buy as many outfits as you want, Glen Coast. I promise you she put that shit together herself. There was no costume design. Look at what fucking Andra Day was wearing. She was sitting in the kitchen doing fucking taxes or some shit, doing bills, whatever, in this long ass pretty skirt. And then she was walking down the street from the bar in this pretty ass fitted red dress and shit. And we got the white mom over here looking, I don't know, like you playing dress up. What's going on? It wasn't even Trailer Park. It was something else. I don't know what to call it. But yeah, that was the Deliverance, and it was a movie, and it came out on Netflix, and y'all should watch Andra Day's autobiography of Nina Simone, not Nina Simone, what was her name? Fuck. Billie Holiday, because that was a really good. That was a magnificent. I even did a review on that one. That was a good ass fucking movie. And I would prefer, if you want to see a good plot plus good acting, good scenery, good costuming, I would prefer you watch that than this. It's not a scary movie, but if you gonna watch a scary movie, watch People Under the Fucking Stairs. Not this. If you want to watch this, you can, but like, I just, girl, I watched this 3 times just to remember what was in this fucking movie. And it was a movie. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this review, and I hope you continue to watch my reviews, and later days.